try the computer. Okay, perfect. So, welcome to Back to Basics Growth. I'm very chuffed that you've given up some of your evening to join me, because to me it's a huge thing, personal development. And over the last few years, I've really been working on myself, but have noticed so many people are just totally crying inside, longing and trying to grasp at something in their lives when it comes to personal development. And, you know, the industry that we are in, some of you may not be in it with regards to network marketing. Andrew talks about Jeff Roberti a lot, who says that network marketing is actually a personal development course that you have signed up for, cleverly disguised as a business. So it's a place where you get stretched in all directions. You get stretched with regards to your limits, you get stretched with your emotions, you get stretched to working with people, you get stretched to getting out of your comfort zones, etc., etc. But it's a lot of a lot of people don't embrace network marketing. Not network marketing, personal development. And if you don't embrace your personal development, you will get stuck. You really will get stuck. And what I want to share with you this evening is a story, is really my story, but I'll do it very quickly because I'm very much in a new story now. And I hope, and I'm sure a lot of you can resonate with being stuck. And over the last couple of years, I moved down to Cape Town 2.5 years ago. I was really sent on a journey of immense proportion, and I landed up, especially last year, unstucking myself. But the years before that, and maybe some of you can relate to this, I was completely stuck in motivation. How many of you just didn't want to get out of bed, or still don't want to get out of bed, and you have absolutely no drive in you to do anything, to even to put a smile on your face? You know, when people say put a smile on your face, but the lack of motivation, the lack of self-belief was my biggest absolute low of believing I could do anything. And I was stuck in my relationships. I was stuck in friendships. When I moved to Cape Town, a lot of people actually moved out of my space, and I had to start again. And people said, "Oh, you're going to Cape Town, nobody's friendly there." Well, that's that true saying, which I will repeat over and over again, of your vibe attracts your tribe. So you look around at the friends that are in your space, you have all got something in common with each other, because you will attract each other. I was seriously stuck in my finances, especially as a single mom. I was depriving my boys of tons of stuff, and I was making excuses for it. We'll get there, but I was taking no action. I was stuck. I was just not taking any action with anything whatsoever. And I was really just stuck in my passion for life. So I started really digging deep and finding out what was causing this stuck. And I really had to take a completely different angle. I've got boxes of books, and I've got bookshelves of books, and I had more books stashed in my garage than anything else. And I've read, and I've done, and eventually I was actually just sticking the books in the bookshelves without even reading them. Nothing was resonating with me. It would be the odd saying, what have you. But I was literally completely stuck. And I've had, over the last year, when I suddenly found a way of unstucking myself, something in me completely shifted. So what I want to share with you on the Back to Basics growth on a Wednesday evening, or whenever I land up doing it, I will definitely record it. I want you to follow it because I want to cover various themes and various topics, because getting unstuck in your life is not quick. This isn't an instant get fix of saying, guys, one lesson, you're going to get unstuck. This has been years of personal development that I've been doing, but still not getting unstuck. And over the last year, I came across some teachings on YouTube, believe it or not, that I really resonated with. And these teachings have completely and totally, utterly changed my life. And what I did was I did research on literally going back to come forward. So I want to share with you as much as possible with the easy formula that I found so simple, and yet it was so freaking hard, but it was so simple that literally in the last year, my life has done a 180, but it was building up. And I can put a date on it at the end of January this year. I literally felt the cog shift, that I had shifted out of the sludge that I was in. And I want to teach you, and I want to share with you what I uncovered, and what I have been following, and what I have now adopted, and how it has completely, honestly, and truly changed my life. And I've realized that I didn't have a choice. I've got such a pull to teach you guys. I've got such a pull to share this with you, because so many people have come up to me and said to me, Susie, you look so happy. Susie, you look so settled. Susie, you look, you're glowing and whatever. What is it? I'm stuck. I'm aching inside. I don't know what to do. I can read books. I can watch things. I can do things. So this is something that I'm unbelievably passionate about. And it really actually is quite simple, but it is totally, completely up to you to take these little, these hints, or these clues, or not even clues, this formula, and for you now to take ownership of it and work through this. Because basically how it all starts, when someone starts a story, once upon a time, and I really am going to go back to basics, and I really am going to teach you actually how simple this is. And you can think I've completely lost the plot, but I promise you, when you look at this and you start analyzing this, you'll realize I haven't lost the plot. And there are a hell of a lot of us, or people out there, that have used the same formula. And now I hope that I can be the messenger to you, that you'll understand it. But when you are born from your parents. You are born as an innocent child. You're born as a baby. You're born as a baby in love. And even if you weren't born in love, you are the epitome of love. Whether you believe in God, whether you talk about the universe, whatever your religion may be, or whether your belief may be, you were born as love. Okay. Our conditioning, we all know, people say your background determines who you are, 100%. So if you can imagine, you are now this beautiful baby of love, and now you get born into a family, and all families have different rules and regulations. All families have different ideas of love, because they've learned it from their parents, our grandparents, our great-grandparents, and it's all been passed down, whether it is a happy upbringing, whether it's a sad upbringing, whether it's a confused upbringing, whatever upbringing. We have landed up now with all of these onion layers, these layers of everybody else's conditioning around us. We got sent to school, we got told rules and regulations there, from nursery school to primary school to high school, we go to university, there's rules and regulations. We get a job, there's rules and regulations. Do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. So we get people busy telling us, you are, you are, you are. And through the process of, and I know from my life, I mean, I grew up in a family that I never lacked love from my mum. And I don't think I ever lacked love from my dad. My dad was never present in my life. But I don't think I lacked love. I just didn't receive the love that my soul, my heart wanted. So all these layers went on, and I landed up making some bad decisions with relationships throughout my life, and then obviously got married, had my children, and landed up in a relationship that was not feeding my soul. I landed up actually marrying the type of man that my father was, and I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable, and we put ourselves through this torture of misery, and yet it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it made me realize what I did not want in life, so that I could break free and find out what I did want and what really fed me. And so when I went on this journey of trying to break these onion layers down, and all the lack of self-belief and the lack of wanting to succeed in my life, I was hiding under the layers, not believing that I could really do anything. I had no confidence whatsoever when I came out of my marriage 8 years ago. And they, when you've got that, you're just searching, you just know that there's something more out there that can make you happy. So last year, when I started analyzing this and realized that the only thing that really was important in my space was to finally look for my happiness. And I literally drew a line in the sand. I remember walking down to the beach. Lindy came down and stayed with me. And you can ask her, I got a big stick and I drew a line in the sand on Muizenberg Beach. And I made a decision that I was now going to find my happy. Everything that I was doing was not making me happy. I was doing everything against my happy. It just felt wrong. And when something feels wrong, you move away from it, or you don't want to do it. So you fight the system with this wrong. But when something feels really right, the word right, actually, even the way you say it, sits really well with me in my heart of thinking, I mean, you know what it's like to do something good or do something right. There's a difference between right and wrong. And when you do something right, you just know that it is a positive thing. So I started doing more right for Susie. And I have grown up in my entire life and in my adult life trying to do right for everybody else. I was trying to make everybody else happy with Susie partaking in, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? That I forgot all about me. And so this whole reset that I did, which is where I want you guys to start, I want you to make a decision to say, enough is enough in my unhappy. And I now want to find and work on my happy. And basically, I withdrew from everyone, and I probably lost a lot of my friends. My family didn't know what was going on. And if you find that you're in that space where you're really lonely, I was really lonely in myself and thinking, what can I do? I don't know what I want to do career-wise. I just didn't have any drive for anything. That line that I drew in the sand And I made a decision. I said, enough is enough. This is absolute, and excuse my language, this is absolute bullshit. I can't have a life like this. There's got to be something more to this. And basically, when I plugged into my teachings last year, I started learning about energies and frequencies. And when you look at everything is energy, guys. Everything is energy. Human beings are just compacted energy. Our body's made up of so many molecules that if you just stick us under a microscope, everything is moving. And energy is so simple. When you look at if I show you or use an example of a radio station, you will tune into, we've got radio stations down here in Cape Town, Smile Radio, we've got Heart Radio. And when you tune into a frequency, you've got 702, High Five Stereo, 94.7, whatever, you will hear a specific message behind a radio station, within a radio station. So 702 is a different message to Heart Radio. Heart Radio is a different message to 94.7. And we are all frequencies, and our moods and our thoughts and our whole persona is a frequency, okay? So, when you walk into a room and you can actually feel there's like a really bad vibe, or even if you go to a funeral, it's sad, or you walk into a party and it's happy, or you walk into a boardroom and it's tense, you actually... it is a frequency. You can feel the energy. You can feel the vibe. If you're having a fight with your partner and you go home when it's tense, you can feel that. That is a frequency. So there is the contrast of frequencies in the human spectrum, and the big contrast is the top of the scale is love, and the bottom of the scale is fear. And anything that moves towards fear is a negative feeling, and anything that moves towards love, which is right, is a positive frequency, okay? So when you are giving off a frequency, it is all derived, funny enough, from only the fifth organ. The fifth biggest organ in your body is the brain. It's not even the largest, and yet it causes the most nonsense in our lives. So this frequency of anything that goes into your head and comes out as of your mouth or out as an action, okay, is going to result in either something that is right or wrong. And basically, I knew that step number one is that I had to control what my brain was doing. I had to control what my frequency in my thoughts was doing. And I know on Back to Basics, I think last year I actually taught you all about waking up in the morning of your 17 seconds. So when I wake up in the morning now, and when I started practicing, thinking, okay, I'm going to start every single day with a higher frequency thought. So I would literally lock into the first 17 seconds of my morning to make me think of something happy and really extremely, something that made me feel good. Because your thoughts, when they are all feelings, and you know that when you think of something fearful, it creates a really uneasy feeling, okay? When you have a thought of something sad, you land up with a real ache inside of you, and you might even burst into tears or something. When you think of something happy, you might laugh, or your face actually smiles, and your whole energy changes with these happy thoughts, or with that happy thought. Because so many people, and I was guilty of it, so many people are stuck in their old stories. And I have learned now that old stories are more detrimental to anything in your existence. Nobody on this earth is serving themselves being stuck in their old story. So yes, I have my story of whatever my story was throughout my life, and you have your story. But why do we keep repeating the old story? Why do we keep going back? Like when you meet someone, you say, tell me a bit about yourself. The first thing they talk about is, oh, woe is me, my divorce, my bad relationship, how my children annoy me, my bad parents, my lack of money, my lack of sleep, my crappy job, I'm overweight. All the lack of anything is the old story, and it is repeat, rewind, replay, rewind, replay, rewind, replay. We're always talking about the old story of what we didn't like, of what we didn't have, of what we don't have. And it's all that lower frequency, which keeps us stuck there. That is the stuck. That's the sludge. So if you think you're stuck, that is the sludge. See what you actually be aware of what you're speaking about, and be aware of what story you are telling. You guys need to, and what I did was I took the old tape of the old story out of my cassette player. Your old, what's it? VCR. Take it out, throw it away. And when people now ask me what my story is, I give them just the Reader's Digest pre-seed version of, this is where I grew up. This is my dynamic of my family. Yes, I'm divorced and I've got 2 children, everything. I don't fill in the frills of that negative story. I don't need to go back there anymore. That has made me who I am now, and I am unbelievably grateful for my story. I'm unbelievably grateful for the marriage I had for 17 years, because I got 2 beautiful children. And I was married to a good man. We just were on a different frequency. And so now I thank my past story that it has made me realize what I don't want in my life, as opposed to, and all the negative stuff, and how I can change it to a new story. So I reset my whole life, and I drew a line in the sand, which I want you guys to see if you're ready to do that and say, you know what, be grateful for your old story. It has brought you to where you are today, where you are in your business, where you are in exactly today, where your life is today, and all that is around you today is exactly the result of what radio station you tuned into in your past. And the biggest gift I got in the last year was to have an awareness of this, of my old story, of how I kept telling it. I was thinking, oh my God, and if anyone ever knew me or knows me and has ever spent time with me, flip, have I got stories. And I used to tell stories after stories after stories after stories. And telling negative stories and telling victim stories really is, you think of the people that you sit around with that just all they do is talk about negative stories. Do you want to be stuck in listening to those stories? And do you want to be one of those people who tell those stories? So you need to reset your story and retell your story, short, sweet, and to the point of, this is who I am, this is where I was born, this is where I went to school. You don't have to fill in the frills anymore. Your story is an old story. The more you tell it and stay in that old frequency, you will take that frequency forward to into your new story. It will be the same tomorrow, the same the next day. And I couldn't figure out, I was thinking, why am I like constantly like rewind, play? I'm still battling financially. I'm still not finding a relationship that makes me happy. I'm still floating around with my career and not like got my teeth into something meaty that feeds my heart. I'm still not in a right space, and I couldn't figure this out. And I figured it out in the end when I realized that I was just stuck in that negative frequency, that lower frequency, right towards fear of old story, old story, old story, rewind, play. You know, when you sit with people and they say, oh yeah, I had a bad relationship, and then everybody climbs in and says, yes, and I did this, and he did this, and she said that, and blah, blah, blah. Guys, it doesn't serve us anymore. And this new reset and this new decision and this new drawing a line in the sand, you need to be grateful for everything in your past, the good, the bad, the ugly, the juicy, the meaty, the blood, sweat, and tears. You've got to be grateful for what you had, because it has brought you to this point, even brought you to this call of realizing it doesn't serve you anymore. So if you've still got it in your space, it's okay, but stop talking about it. So your step number one is to stop telling your old story in a negative way and all the negative, juicy stuff. It's happened. It's done. The divorce is done. The boyfriend's broken up. The whatever's happened. You've lost the home. You've lost the car. Whatever. It is the old story. You cannot keep repeating it. So you need to be grateful and say, thank you for my old story, because I now have a chance to have an awareness that it didn't serve me. It's like that old pair of shoes that leaks, or those socks that have got so many holes now, they're not serving anymore. Throw them away. Throw the old storytelling away, and you start with a whole new leaf of new stories. Now, these new stories all you now have an awareness. I got such an awareness of what I was thinking. I got such an awareness of what I was speaking that it slowed me down completely before I just blabbered anything. I stopped, I paused, I thought, is it a good feeling? Is it a bad feeling? Is it a good thing I'm going to say? Is it a bad thing? And I promise you, I stopped talking and I thought about it, and I thought, okay, I've got to think a happy thought. And in fact, I'm looking at my wall now. I've got posted on my wall here, think happy thoughts. So I would be consciously aware of, am I putting out a higher vibration out of smile radio, or am I out of a negative vibration, fear-based, or just, you know how we just quickly respond to something negatively. So I want you to be, over the next few days, be very aware of how quickly you respond to things, and to stop and pause and to think, am I talking out of my old story? Am I talking out of my new story? Because the reality is, when you start actually speaking more or positively, and you start speaking right, what really resonates with your heart, not just something that comes out of your head and your mouth. When you stop and you pause and you feel what that thought actually is going to create. My mother used to say, is it nice? Is it necessary? Is it nice? Is it the truth? And is it necessary? Was probably one of the most powerful things I ever learned. So happy thoughts are a higher vibration. And I know it sounds corny when it says find your happy, but the happy thought, the word joy and the frequency of joy is the highest frequency that you can expel from you. And when you get on that frequency, every single thing in your life changes. My life, I mean, it did a 180, but it is a habit that you have to create. And a habit takes a daily action, and it takes at least 30 days for a habit to start kicking in. And then it starts you do it again and again and again and again. I now choose to only talk happy, high vibrational things. Is it nice? Or is it the truth? Is it nice? Is it necessary? And I rather walk away from conflict, and I rather walk away from people who are having bitching conversations. I just say, leave me out of this, I'm going to the loo. Leave me out of this, I'm going to get a cup of coffee. I now choose what I want to hang around with. I now choose what I want to actually to say. But it all started off with one simple thing, which is every single morning I woke up, and the first 17 seconds I locked on to a happy thought. And I want you to do this exercise for the next week, and I want to get feedback from you. And I know some of you have already been doing it, and even you've forgotten to do it, maybe you need to start again, is what do you do? I mean, you think about what you do when you wake up. The first thing most people do, and I know this, is they pick up their phones off their bedside tables. First of all, they're turning off an alarm. Then they check, okay, who's messaged me during the evening or during the night? And they suddenly get locked into Facebook. They suddenly get locked into WhatsApp. They get locked into their emails. And they allow any negative energies or any negative message can literally determine your day from that third-party source. You are, when I realized it is up to me to set the tone for my day in those first 17 seconds, when I realized how it impacted my life so much that I don't even look, in fact, I turn my internet off at night. I turn my alarm off in the morning, and then I lie there, and some of you jump out of bed, but 17 seconds, guys, is like the equivalent of one yawn. You can afford to lie. In fact, you cannot not afford to lie there for 17 seconds. And 17 seconds when you wake up, the first thing that you want to do is you want to think about, oh, damn, I've got a meeting. Flip, I've got to go and sit in traffic. Oh my God, it's raining outside, or it's cold, I don't want to get out of bed. Or you had a fight with the wife or the girlfriend or the boyfriend, whatever, and it's all coming back to you. That first 17 seconds, when you catch yourself with a negative thought, you've actually got to say, and I used to say, Susie, stop it. I'm not going that way. That is my old story. That is what I used to do in the morning. I'm now starting a new story. And my new story is going to start with a positive, happy thought. So over the next few days, I want you to be very aware of the little things around you that make you happy. And it really is that simple. And if you like 2 sugars in your coffee and you take a sip of it and it is delicious, and you pause and you taste that coffee with those 2 teaspoons of sugar in, be conscious of how you feel with that really delicious first sip of coffee, because it's that feeling. And this whole thing that I'm going to teach you in time is everything is about a feeling. And when you wake up in the morning with 17 seconds of a happy feeling, something tiny that made you happy. Maybe it was a child of yours that wrapped their arms around you and gave you a big kiss and said, I love you, mommy or daddy. Maybe it was your partner telling you at some stage, or whatever it was, how beautiful you were or that you loved them, but it made you feel so awesome. Maybe it was a joke you shared with a friend that you can remember that laughter. Maybe it was something beautiful you saw, whether it be a flower, or maybe it was a view. Maybe it was something kind somebody did to you. Something. Maybe it was a holiday you went on. Maybe it was a restaurant you went to. Maybe it was something delicious you ate. Anything that you can lock onto that made you feel good, that you really laughed. Maybe it was, Alan, I'm going to use you as an example. I know how absolutely amazing, how happy you were when you went on stage in Johannesburg and we were able to recognize you when you finally got your recognition of qualifying. And I know how happy it made me. If you can lock onto something, maybe it was the day you said I do at the church, maybe whatever, one tiny little happy thing that can dinkumly get to the core of you to give your inside a smile. If you can lock onto that for 17 seconds, what happens with those 17 seconds is that if you've locked onto it long enough for 17 seconds, and it's not long, 17 seconds, and you can hold that thought or another similar thought onto another 17 seconds and another 17 seconds and a fourth one, it makes it 68 seconds. So I'm sure you can lie in bed for 1 minute of stepping out of your old story, so that negative thought or that grabbing the phone, put it away, that negative thought of that crappy day ahead that you think you're going to have, because if you're thinking you're going to have a crappy day, you're going to have it because you've already locked yourself into a negative energy. Old story, gone, 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 gone. You're not allowed to bring that into this story. 17 seconds of that smile, 17 seconds of an inner smile, of that vibration of that smile radio tuning, times 4, 68 seconds. And you can get then out of bed your day and set your intention. And there's one thing I say, and I want you to say it as well to yourselves. And I wake up in the morning and I say, I am going to have the best day ever. And we have this whole thing, like if Lindy and I message each other, or Lindy's daughter, Holly, she sends me a message, or I do it amongst my friends and my team, we have the best day ever. It's a vibration of happy. It's a joy vibration. It's a higher frequency. Watch what happens. Because what is the old story? The old story, you get up, you stub your toe. The old story, you land up, maybe the shower water's cold, you spill toothpaste on your shirt, your coffee's cold, you're late for work, you never get a parking, you're stuck in traffic jam, you're not connecting with people, you're trying to get links out, people aren't taking follow-up calls. That is the old story. And we are now resetting the new story to getting out of bed for 17 seconds, 17, 17, 17, 68 seconds. You get out of bed with a smile on your face. You will find your day will change like you have no idea. And it creates momentum. And we talk about momentum in our business. It does create momentum. And you will find then, by even saying, I'm going to have the best day ever, creates a day where suddenly the traffic does flow. And even if it doesn't flow, you stay in your happy, because if you're getting yourself uptight and you're getting yourself annoyed and you react like your old story, you're still stuck in your old story. So get into your new story with thinking 17 seconds of happy. You flip and lock on to your happy, okay? And I really mean it. The most amazing things start happening when you create that as a habit, and you know it's the feeling that I want you to create of that inner, absolute inner smile. And there's a trick that I taught myself. Yellow is a very happy color. So when I used to drive around, or still do drive around, I started looking for yellow cars. And when I saw a yellow car, it reminded me of, I locked it into the feeling of the happy of the first 17 seconds. So it reminded me, and it reignited that happy. So I want you to start, your 17 seconds is a non-negotiable from tomorrow morning on. And when you find that you're taking yourself back into your negative wake up, okay, you flip and lock into your 17 seconds and you go, no, I am now going to do 17 seconds of happy. Find something happy, lock it in, put a smile on your face of that happy, okay, which creates 68 seconds, which creates then the rest of your morning and your day. And your pinpointers and your reminders throughout the day are looking for your yellow cars, yellow trucks, people with yellow caps, yellow t-shirts, anything that you can see of yellow. You need to smile at and say, there's my happy, and it puts you back in that frequency. And I tell you this because, and it sounds really silly, but it is honestly and truly, when I start breaking this down into more serious stuff and down in weeks to come, you will realize that the basis, that the core, that the absolute center of your success in your everything is up to your happy, is up to what is going on inside you. Your happy will influence every single person around you. It is an energy, and they will catch on your energy. You cannot be sucked into anybody's negative. Your job is to create your happy. And if you are wanting to reset your life, and if you find that you just are lost and you're all over your GPS is all over your place, this is the first ingredient. And I will give you a lot more ingredients, but you have to start with the basics. And your basics and your homework for the next week is your 17 seconds to create the 68 and stay in that happy thought. Look for the yellow around you, okay, and start locking into that frequency of happy. I want you to really get that feeling of what things make you happy. And I want you to write down in your own time over the next week, what are the little things that actually make you happy? What are the things that when you write down, you smile? Because those are the things that when you write them down, you will also have a bigger list to be able to wake up to. And I used to lie there thinking, oh my God, what makes me happy? What makes me happy? Then I'd lie there and I'd go, but flip, I'm in this amazing bed and I'm comfy and I'm snug and I'm warm and I'm safe and I'm alive. Like, yay, it's okay, it's cool. And I would be thinking of my boys and I would be thinking of something that made me happy. So when you start writing lists, you actually trigger more happies. That it's easier to wake up in the morning and think. You're not racking your brain. So your homework this next week is to lock onto that 17 seconds. Leave your telephone out of this, okay? Turn your alarm off. Lie back and think of 17 seconds. Allow it to go 4 times into 68, but at least give yourself a couple of minutes of thinking of something, a memory or whatever made you and whatever makes your inside happy. And then get up for your day. And from then on, your trigger points or anything that is yellow will put you back in your happy. But remember, it's not going to happen overnight. It really is something that you need to decide and think, this inside of me is just not lacquer, and I really need to change something. And I really was down and out. I was like desperate, thinking, what the hell am I going to do? Because I was so miserable inside, and I was, I really had to look for something. So when I learned this formula and a whole lot more things that I'll teach you, it has completely and totally changed my life. But it was something that I really had to work at. So it isn't going to come easy, because it actually is easy, but it is you that make it difficult, or that made it difficult. So I want you to make a list of things that make you happy. And it's not just write it down, chocolate makes me happy. I want you to get the feeling of that happy, of eating that chocolate. I want you to get that feeling and start really being happy, drinking your coffee and your tea and tasting stuff and feeling stuff. Find what really makes you happy and make a list of it, so that when you wake up in the morning, you've got a list of things to think of and lock into that happy frequency, that there's nothing like a child hugging you. There's nothing like a partner that really loves you hugging you. Really get the feeling, the frequency. And that frequency is how we are going to go on this journey together to really unlock your happy. And when you unlock your happy, everything opens up. Your whole frequency of you changes, and people want to come and join your business, and people want to be your friends, and everything starts happening. I mean, finances change. Literally magic starts happening. Things just, because all the good stuff, guys, in our lives is on a higher frequency. And when you are depressed and down, you're on a lower frequency, and you get delivered the lower frequencies bundle in life. So your only job on this planet is to go back to source, which is love, which is happy, which is that innocent happy that we have got so many layers on. So we're going to work through the layers, but I'm telling you what is in there. 17 seconds in the morning will start unwrapping and bringing it out. And you will find freaking amazing things start happening. So that's your homework this week, of the start in the morning. Okay, your reset is always, if you land up having a crappy day, your reset then is when you actually go back to bed, or you need to go and have a nap again and reset. But be very aware of how you wake up in the morning. It will determine the rest of your day. And when you are on a higher frequency, you will start seeing amazing things happen around you, in your business, in your personal lives, in your financial lives, friendships, you name it. Because it's fact. It happens. It's exactly how it is. So that's it for today. I'm not going to give you anything more, because that is today's lesson of your first minute of waking up will determine the rest of your day. Spot the yellow things so that you can keep resetting yourself. Those yellow cars, you'll be surprised at how many yellow cars there are out there, and yellow trucks. And anything yellow, when I see, I go happy, happy, happy. And I'm doing it all inside me, or I'm doing it if I'm with people who get my madness with that. But we're going to work through this. We're going to work through this together. And when you start, when that all becomes easier, being in that higher frequency, you will, I'm going to teach you so many amazing things that will enhance that happy and literally reset your lives, because it's doable. I did it in a year of really hard slog myself. But now that I want to share it with you, we can work through this so quickly. But the decision is yours. Draw your line in the sand. I make a decision now to find my happy. And when I find my happy, all the doors of life and of amazing things start opening up to you. I am proof. I promise you, I'm proof. It's real. I had to go and dig deep, and I had to do this all on my own to find that way of doing it. And it freaking worked for me. And it is so easy, and yet it feels so hard in the beginning. But how difficult can it be waking up with a really happy thought and taking it into the first couple of minutes of your day and keeping it going? I have to end off, I have a daily mantra, which I will put up on the group, which basically says, I live an easy life of fun, flow, joy, and love. I'm tuned in, I'm tapped in, I'm turned on, I'm a winner. And that is all I say every single morning. I wear it stuck on my mirror, and I say it with a happy energy. And it really does flip and change everything. As airy-fairy and as frilly as it may sound, it isn't. It's the universal law of going back to finding my source, what I was put on this earth for. And from that has resulted in me finding my purpose in life. It has helped me find love in life. It has helped me have an amazing relationship with my children. I'm loving our business at the moment with everything and amazing people coming in. I'm writing a book. I have got all sorts of things going on at the moment. And it all started with me learning about the 17 seconds So that is today, your homework of 70 seconds, finding yellow and making a list of the things that really make you feel happy. And then next week, I would love to have some of this time to share with some of you and tell me about some of the things that do make you happy, so that you can perhaps prompt other people, and how your 17 seconds has influenced your week. And then I will give you the next step. So I hope you get benefit from this. I'm going to put the recording up on the group, the Back to Basics growth. I'll put it on my Facebook page as well, which is Unstuck at 51. And you're so welcome to invite anyone to this group. Pass the recording on, and let's make some more happy people. Your businesses will flourish, your relationships will flourish. Everything starts working when you find what you are here for, and you are really here to have fun and be happy on this planet and in this lifetime. And we've been stuck in our old stories too long, and no more old storytelling of I'm broke, I don't have a relationship, I'm in a crap marriage. You stop talking about that. It is a frequency. You are not allowed to speak about it. You just put it aside. Thanks, not talking about that. I'm now talking about what I am happy about in my life. So on that note, it is 8:25. The company webinar is at 8:30. And so you have time to quickly grab a cup of tea and get on that. I really hope that you have learned something, and I really would love you to give me some feedback on the group, on the WhatsApp group, that you have that this simple formula really does make an impact in the next few days. Remember, it's a habit. Once you start, you make a decision to continue. Eventually, it does become a habit. So love you lots, and very chuffed that you're on here. Pass this recording on, get as many people. This is an open group to the whole world. This is not just a business thing. Everybody deserves to be happy, and I have found my happy, and I want to teach you how to find your happy and have absolute abundance in all aspects of your life. So on that happy note, think happy thoughts, and I will see you next week at the same time. It'll probably be the 8 o'clock slot, because we won't have a webinar, but I will let you know, and have an amazing evening. So I will end this and see you all next week. Thank you, guys.